Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE and compare it against the Google Pixel 8a and see which particular phone is a better one for you. Should you go ahead and buy something like this, Google Pixel 8a, or should you buy the Galaxy S23 FE? Now, we'll talk about that throughout this whole entire video, but if you want to pick up this phone or some other phones that I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones, the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE that came out back in 2023 on the front of this particular phone is essentially giving you a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED display. And it's an overall pretty good looking panel. I felt like this phone was good when it first came out and it still looks fairly good for the most part. This panel is 1080p and it's a 120Hz display like I just said. And I do think if you're going to go through and buy some sort of a device, it really isn't that bad of a phone. My only issue with it ever was, whenever I bought it, was the fact that the particular panel was a little bit different. Like I feel like the bezel around it was a little bit more than I was expecting. But I do think beyond that, it's still a very good looking display. And for the most part, I'm still a big fan of it when it kind of comes out. With the Google Pixel 8a though, on the other hand, this phone is giving you a 6.1-inch OLED display. So this panel is a little bit different. It's smaller, the same resolution, it's a 120Hz panel too, but you are getting 2000 nits of brightness on the Pixel 8a, where the Galaxy S23 FE was giving you basically 1450 nits of brightness. So the Google Pixel 8a is giving you a significantly better display, at least a brighter display. Better, it is subjective a little bit. I don't know if one of these panels is like significantly better than the other one. They both have like a little bit of bezel around it comparatively to like their, non-budget counterpart. But I would say I do like having a brighter display. But the S23 FE's display is still very bright. It's still very, very good enough for me. And I do think this in and of itself really isn't like that big of a difference when it comes down to my side of things. So from the front side, that kind of covers it up there. Both have USB Type-C ports. Both have kind of curved sides, kind of flat sides to them. The Pixel 8a is a little bit more curved. On the back side, this is another interesting thing. They both have plastic backs on both these phones. So one phone really isn't going to feel like way more premium than the other one. They're both kind of around the same thing when it comes down to here. So if you were going through and buying some sort of a device, you are basically buying a phone that's going to be giving you like a there's not going to be a phone that's going to be giving you like a way better build quality if that's what you're fearful of. So between both, you're not really going to go too wrong with either one of these from that particular perspective. On top of that, both of them have, cameras. We'll talk about that in a second. But one, the Galaxy S23 FE is giving you reverse wireless charging. The Pixel 8a is giving you standard wireless charging. So it does kind of suck a little bit that, the Galaxy S23 FE is basically giving you a really cool feature where the, Pixel 8a is not giving you. Is it the biggest deal in the world? Not really, but it is just one of those nice to have kind of things with the, Galaxy S23 FE that the Pixel 8a is not kind of giving you. So when it comes down to the outside, I definitely do like both. I don't know if there's one that I'd look at and be like, oh my goodness, this is the way better one than the other one. But if I had to pick up one, I would probably say the Galaxy S23 FE is kind of giving you better features here and there than something like the Pixel 8a in some cases. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. One other thing that I kind of want to hit on though is that with the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE, this phone is a little bit cheaper in the used market than the Pixel 8a. Brand new, it's a little bit of a different story, but if you're trying to go and pick up one, the Galaxy S23 FE is about $370 on Amazon, where the Pixel 8a just came out. That one's basically $500. So if you were going through and wanting to get a better device, you might want to look at something like the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE because it is a little bit cheaper in the used market than something like the Pixel 8a. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there as well. Now, on top of that, when it comes down to the cameras, both of these cameras are very, very decent. There's not really one that's like crazy better than the other one, but there might be a better one when I'm done explaining. The Galaxy S23 FE is giving you a 50 megapixel wide-angle lens, 8 megapixel telephoto lens, then a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera. The Google Pixel 8a is giving you a 64 megapixel wide-angle lens and then a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera. The front camera, 10 megapixels on the Galaxy S23 FE, 13 megapixels on the Pixel 8a, but it is an ultra-wide front-facing camera on the Pixel 8a, which is very nice. Here's the thing I'll definitely tell you. Even if we were comparing the Pixel 8's camera against the Galaxy S23 FE, I think I would still kind of have the same answer. I do think a phone like the Galaxy S23 FE's camera is probably the better one when it kind of comes down to it. That is a phone, the S23 FE, that's probably going to be giving you the better camera when it kind of comes down to it, as far as I can tell. The reason for that is because something like the Galaxy S23 FE can do 8K video and 4K at 60 on the back and the front. So you can do 4K at 60 on the back and the front of both of them, which is very nice. Whereas on something like the Google Pixel 8a, you can only do 4K at 30 on the front, but you can do 4K at 60 on the back. So you have substantially higher resolutions that you can film in on something like the Galaxy S23 FE, which doesn't necessarily mean it is like the way better phone in every single way, but that is the phone that I look at and be like, you know what, that's the one that would probably make a lot more sense for me to go ahead and basically recommend for the most part. So, in my personal opinion, I look at that particular phone as probably being the better camera when it comes down to these two, and that's just kind of how I feel. There could be some ways that the Galaxy S23 FE may be worse, but for the most part, I would probably tell you, for the most part, that is kind of the better one that I would probably recommend majority of people to buy. So, from the camera side, that kind of covers it up there. Now, in other areas, with these particular phones, you can't really go wrong with. The software on both is, interesting. You're getting One UI on the Galaxy S23 FE. With the Pixel 8a, you're getting stock Android. Now, when it comes down to both, I don't know if there's one that's like substantially way better than the other one, but I like stock Android. That's probably the one I would look at, probably being the more consistent, better one, probably for the average person. But One UI is very good. There's lots of people who use, Samsung phones and are basically used to One UI. So I don't know if it's, stock is the best one. There's lots and lots of features within One UI. But now that Samsung has kind of, started improving the software longevity of their Galaxy S24 lineup, it's kind of making the S23s look a little bit worse, including this one, where the Pixel 8s and the 8As are going to be giving you a much longer lasting phone. So if you're wanting a phone that's going to be lasting a longer amount of time, something like the Google Pixel 8a might make a lot more sense for the average person rather than something like the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE. So that right there is like another pretty big thing to kind of keep in mind when it comes down to that particular device as well. Now on top of that, when it comes down to the performance, this is also another big thing. The Galaxy S23 FE is giving you that Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside with 8GB of RAM, with the Google Pixel 8a is giving you that Tensor G3 chipset inside with 8GB of RAM as well. So if I'm looking at both these phones, I'm definitely looking at a device on both that, is giving you a pretty good experience. There's not really one that's like crazy better than the other one, but I will tell you from my personal opinion, I do think devices like the, Samsung Galaxy S23 FE kind of give you the better experience most of the time, because that phone is going to be giving you that Snapdragon chipset. Even though it's like 2 years old, I do think that chipset might be a little bit better for some people than the Tensor chipset. I like the Tensor chipset, it's great, but those Snapdragon chipsets have always been substantially better. Now, with the 8 Gen 1 chipset, it's a little bit different because that one was prone of like having these like weird throttling problems that we've seen before. But that's why I kind of say the Pixel 8a might be better for some people. But for the average person, Snapdragon's usually better. And that's kind of how I feel about the performance between both. The battery life is also kind of similar between both, almost like 4,500 mAh battery, but the S23 FE is slightly bigger. But this is how I would kind of sum it up between these two phones. If I were to pick up one, if I had to go into the store and just buy one, I kind of do think I would buy the Galaxy S23 FE. I think this is the phone that's going to be giving you a better phone in general. This one's going to be giving you a better display, kind of bigger display, better cameras, bigger battery, and probably the better performance. But the Pixel 8a is probably the most consistent one that's going to be consistently better for the average person, including things like, the camera being good, the software being good, lasting for a long time. So there's not really a bad answer here, but if I had to pick up one, it'd probably be something like the Galaxy S23 FE because of its features, but the Pixel 8a is still a very good phone as well. So that pretty much covers it up here. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.